coming. Nice, quiet press conference. We can whip through this quickly, although we'll give you as much time as you need, of course. Start off with Garai from PLP, and then anything from Sam and anything from PA. No embargo needed, so everything can go straight out. Can all run straight through when you're ready.
Good afternoon. Hope you're well. We know you've been dealing with a lot of injuries this season. Can we have a team news update and some update on the longer term ones as well?
Team news. Everyone that was available for Arsenal is available for Southampton, so that's good. The ones that not doubt, but that came back, Matthijs Jensen and Stefanberg and Flecken that had a little bit, it all came through well, so that's good. Longer terms, no, nothing specific to update, if I'm honest.
You mentioned yesterday there were positive takeaways and many things you did right against Arsenal. There were points where they had over 80% possession and they weren't really testing your defence or being that creative. How important is it for you to use these performances, particularly against top teams, to see where your gaps and weaknesses are and see where you can improve?
Of course, it's always good to test yourselves against the best. The good thing about the Premier League is that we are allowed to be tested against the best, more or less week in, week out. But the best in the world is Arsenal's and Liverpool's, and I know City got a dip, but in City as well. Chelsea's getting there, so it's fantastic to get that test yesterday. And I thought that we, except for one moment that I equalised, played the perfect half, which I'm very pleased with. We pressed aggressively high when we could. We defended very low and compact and solid when we should. I thought we were very good on the ball. In our phase one, they couldn't catch us. I thought we got relatively easy out. Scored a fantastic goal. Created other opportunities. So that was top. Unfortunately, 2 moments second half where were perfect, and then we lost the game.
You've got Southampton away next, and the last 4 times you've played them, you've won. But what type of tactical battle do you expect against them?
I watched, of course, the 2 games they have played under the new manager Ivan Juric. They have changed a bit. They don't take as much risk when they're building up. They go longer every single time. Train the person a little bit. Onoacho is coming in on top, and he's a handful. And they went from being number 15 out of 20 in terms of crosses to the second in terms of crosses on average. So there's a few tactical battles, tweaks they've done that we need to be aware of. It's a good team. I know they're bottom of the league. Nothing is easy in the Premier League. We know that. Big respect for Southampton. We need to bring our A game and be unbelievable focused. But if we are, I believe we can get 3 points.
Specifically against Arsenal, you had those little moments where you were punished and those small margins in some games this season. How, as a manager, do you coach the difference between those fine details? Is it all in just the analysis and reflection, or is it those player instincts in those moments?
I think it's the constant development of players and teams. And so the players we have in our team. So we look through the goals. We also look through the big moments that that didn't capitalize to become a goal. What could we have done different from our principles? But what is that we could do? What we could change. So we constantly try to do that. And then of course there's a reason why some players cost plus 100 million and others cost 15.
And lastly, we've spoken before about your away form this season, but there's context. You've played more top teams away and you've had a lot of injuries to deal with. Do you personally have a belief, though, in why there's a big difference in your points taken home and away?
No, not really. I think for me, it's looking into the performances. I think we are halfway through the season and we have. We got 24 points, which is acceptable without being through the roof. It's a good foundation to stand on. Of course, can we get more away from home, which is the aim. But we need to look into performances. We had, in the 19 games we played, we had 1 bad performance over 90 minutes, more or less. That was against Fulham, and we were very close to win it anyway. Then there's been other spells in games where we haven't been to our best, but in general perform well, good. So can we keep those performances up away as well? Then we'll win games.
Is that more important to you, the way you play over points? Of course, you need the points.
I think, the way we play plus performances, that is work ethic. That is how we are working as a team. That's how we are doing our principles. And of course, all that into the style of play. Can we do that consistently good? Then we will win more games than we lose. No doubt about that. And that is always the aim. Even if we have won against Fulham, as I referred to, I still would have been irritated because we played bad. It's a little bit more of relief. Nice, but after the game you'll not be as happy because it's not sustainable. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Sam.
Just wanted to check on Fabio Carvalho building on this squad. What's he?
Minor growing injury, unlikely to be involved for Southampton.
And then wanted to just sort of compare, because obviously you talk about performance, it's just there, and it's 5 games without a win, but we compare that to last season where it was 7 games without a win, there were injuries. How do you compare and contrast the performances?
To last year?
That style last year around the same sort of time?
Good question. I can't, getting older, but a little bit, I don't know, similar. I remember, as I remember, we had 3 bad performances last year. So far we had 1. So if we can have those consistent performances, I'm quite as happy as I can be when you're not winning. So it's about doing that right. And if you look at the teams we have played, so we played Arsenal, Brighton, Nottingham, Chelsea. So that's 3 teams that is in top 5 and a good Brighton team. So, and overall fine, good performances. So we just need to do what we do.
I wanted to sort of talk about Southampton. Obviously they've gone quite a long time without a win. They've been at the sort of bottom of the table, but does that make them a lot more of a dangerous opposition coming into this game?
Yeah, you can say that. I think that they will win games before the end of the season. So we just need to make sure that we have done our part to avoid that happening against us. So we need to make sure we do everything we can to win that game. Of course, we look into how they do it now under the new manager, under Ivan Juric, and tweak it into the game plan we think and the style of play we have and how we want to play. And then it's just up to us to go down there and perform, respect good players and a good team.
And is there a sort of inclination to be a little bit more proactive to sort of stifle this, new manager at home? They'll be looking at your away team, etc. So if you want to take the game to them and play it on your terms, basically.
We always try to do that. Play on our terms. Sometimes we're very successful, sometimes we aren't. That's football. No, I with you. It's the 3rd game under new manager. They play at home. They probably look at our away form. They will see it as a must-win game if they can get out of the relegation battle. I'm very aware of that. But it's about us. It's our approach. It's how we're prepared. It's how we perform.
And you talk about sort of playing the game on your terms. Obviously, Brighton, you sort of let the game come onto you, let them have the pressure. That's something that your team relishes. That's something your team wants to do.
No. But we're playing against good teams, so I think you're talking about Brighton, right? That was yeah. So I think they were very good the first 10-15 minutes. So that was 30 minutes left of first half, where they were more on top in the game in terms of possession and so on. Where second half I thought was a completely even game, where I thought we were slightly better. Yesterday was a little bit the opposite. We played almost perfect game. Second half was fine, but not as good. So it happens. It's rarely that you can have a game where you're completely on top in games. It's we are facing very, very good teams, and it would be nice to be dominant in every game. It's not possible.
And then sort of, given the injuries in defence, is it a little bit worrying that teams are sort of going wave after wave of pressure because they feel sitting deep? sometimes invite chances, invite goals.
Talking about the game yesterday or in general?
Yesterday, but there's a couple instances, I think Fulham being one of them.
Which is 13 games ago.
Sure. And then you've got Brighton as well. Just get games where you sat in and invited a bit of pressure.
Let me put it this way, we're not inviting pressure on purpose. We're facing good teams that try to create and dominate, and then they will be, how can you say, putting a little bit of pressure. I think in general also, I think against Brighton we didn't give too much away. And yesterday, of course, we play Arsenal that are second in the league, and we'll go toe-to-toe with Liverpool to the end of the season. I'm not in doubt about that, to win the championship, where we give basically one big chance away. And yeah, that happens sometimes, yeah.
And with that said, where do you see the solutions then being where you can perhaps be a little bit more proactive in that sense?
I think do what we have done the whole time. I think we need to take into context who we're facing. Are we expecting us to be completely dominant against Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton away? Probably not. I would love to do more. Sometimes we just need to respect that you need to defend sometimes as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anything from you, Duncan?
Tell us what were your hopes and expectations for the transfer window?
I hope that we how can I say? I expect us to be proactive, as we always are. Be out there in the market, eyes wide open. If there's anything we want to do, it's of course the injury situation is what it is. The medical staff is working very, very hard to do everything they can to get people to return to play as quick as possible. So it's not like I think we need some, but let's see what's happening in the next 3 or 4 weeks if players are not turned around to be able to play.
In that case, we're done. Thank you very much, everybody.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Leave that on.
No, leave it on. Okay.